Kings Row Baby Bat Burritos versus the 1%. Kind of fitting in a social allegory kind of way that if you're eating bat burritos, you're probably not part of the 1%, I'd have to say.
Yeah, so funny story. In the T station near where I work, there's actually a burrito stand that is made among pigeons, so the pigeons that walk through the station. I heard it's one of the best burritos, so
Ah.
potentially it could be a delicacy. So we never know.
Yeah, I mean, you can put almost anything in a burrito. There's a couple really famous taco stands very near my house, and I always get like lengua, which is tongue. I always get like all the kind of the weird stuff, and those weird meats are actually quite delicious, to be honest, if they're prepared correctly. So don't just sit there and get your carne asadas. Boring, boring, boring. Try some different stuff. I would eat a bat burrito if given the chance. I really would, because I'm a risk taker, and food poisoning be damned. What do you see here? Anything interesting defense or offensively? I mean, they're running the May, which used to be interesting. Now it's just standard on Kings Row defense.
Yeah, and I mean they are running it, and I guess it's kind of weird because it's functioning as a 4 tank 2 support combination rather than that 1 DPS dealer, which I honestly think they might be running some damage issues because they don't have that Zenyatta to claw away at the tanks. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe they know something that we don't. I think they're mainly going for the stall tactic, waiting for that Blizzard to be up and capitalizing on that with the Ana grenade combination, and they cut them off immediately. So that's a good initial start, but they didn't, section out. They didn't pick anyone off. So this push is just slightly more delayed.
Yeah, not exactly what you want. You want to collapse off of the split off there, and right now the offense just rolling in despite the Ana wall early on. A nice wall does prevent a charge, though, and they are going to get some damage onto these tanks. Are they going to be able to finish off these tanks? Waffle does come in, takes down two. It is 4v4 right now on this point as Hydration begins to delay on his May. The May delay, as it were. Waffle-tastic still trying to get more, but he is all alone as the May is still delaying on the backside. So when May is in that ice block, she does get healed, but not able to help out her team as Miso tries to come in and bring it back. Takes down one, but is taken down in turn. 4 on the point. No defense here. No really idea that they're going to stall this out. That is a very quick first take on Kings Row.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Hydration's kind of use on the May combination. It kind of felt he was a little lost because when he came out of his ice block, he ran immediately towards the side where the offense would be respawning instead of running away towards Zarya, maybe getting a shield or something. So it just kind of feels a little mixed up. But he will be staying on the May for this next point. I think that he's mainly banking on the fact, hey, I'm at 99% right now. I'm going to have that Blizzard, and Blizzard is so good in this street phase because there's so many weird choke points and weird places you can kind of put it down and stop a lot of movement, especially stop a lot of side flanks. So definitely.
I wouldn't mind a Graviton into Blizzard. It's not something we see very often, but Graviton only immobilizes people momentarily, does not make them super vulnerable. The wall comes up to prevent this high noon. Graviton was going to come through. Wow, Miso peaks, though. He gets taken out by Moffat in that Deadeye, but the Blizzard does come down, grabs a couple bits of cleanup there, but it is still going to be Mo Pork on his Zarya. Mo Pork, I want to say he used to play for Ono, but I could be wrong on that, but definitely a name we've seen before. So they had a bunch of ults on the defense, did not end up using them, so I guess that is a saving grace, but I think Miso peeking there early really hurt them. They wanted to get the Graviton in before that Blizzard, and he would have been up to actually clean up some of that Blizzard. He was not. They continued to roll through.
Yeah, and this is like a kind of weird position because they have a few people in the flank position, maybe Hydration trying to get a pick, get a wall up or anything like that. But great Blizzard dropping it down right now, negating that initial push, and sure, you got at least a soundbird, but that's just not nearly enough. That Graviton starts just keeping all together, which should be a lot of damage left, but they don't have a lot of burst they can initially use. The nano boosted Reinhardt in the background, making so much trouble for Moffat and everyone else, but they're able to push back that charge and clean up that fight. So good job for the defense for holding. Honestly, Hydration hit a really nice Blizzard. I really like where that was. It kind of stopped everyone from perceiving that choke point and engaging.
Yeah, I want to say Moffat was on Ono too, so I think this is a bit of the remnants of the Ono team and a couple of other players that I recognize here as well. I could be totally wrong. I'm not looking at my player database at the moment, but they are definitely familiar names we've seen before on this Baby Bat team. So the defense still holding strong, though, preventing them from pushing in. Moffat does switch pretty late here onto the Reaper. Perhaps that will be the answer for him. Hydration has stuck on this May, and I think a lot of it's just based on the fact that Blizzard is that good, and they've hit these really nice Blizzards.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what's helping them out right now in terms of lack of damage, but I do agree.
Nice
I think
ball
Moffat
there.
switching over to Reaper is really good for the damage compensation on the side, knowing they can outpower the side of the defense. But that great Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter is just going to make life miserable. When your nano boosted Reinhardt just isn't able to get as much damage as he needs to, that's kind of a waste of a lot of time that you spent building up that ultimate.
They crushed that. They absolutely crushed that. Beautiful Graviton there, as you mentioned, a completely negated ultimate from Reinhardt. So the nice thing, well, ultimate from Ana onto Reinhardt. The nice thing is Ender did not throw good money after bad there and throw it on his Earth Shatter, so at least they're going to have that up in this next push. 2.5 minutes rather, to get to this next point, and this is a brutal point because the spawns are so far back that every time you fail a push here, it's a solid minute before you can push again.
Waffle-tastic coming in from the background, trying to get a hook, and that Blizzard, you know, does isolate people a little bit off from the cart, so they aren't able to move it while this fight is going on. But I mean, I don't think they were expecting Waffle-tastic coming through the background and get that huge flank off and, you know, contribute to the rest of his team. I think the rest of the team was very smart in when they were, you know, pulling back and kiting back. They were splitting up, so they weren't, you know, giving anyone a huge clump area to fire in necessarily. However, on the side of the offense, they do have a lot of tools right now. Ender, Hero, Driku, and Mopork all have their ultimates, so that's something to look at.
Well, I think that was kind of the point of that push there, too. They did go around side by side just trying to get kills there. It was a bit of a junk rush, as you were going to see that the ultimate advantage now swinging in favor of the offense for the first time in this game. Mopork is going to have his Graviton up. Can he actually get it down? They have Graviton, Death Blossom, they have everything. He gets through the shield. Nice Graviton starts it off. There is an Ana ult, but it does get met by a Sound Barrier. They do sleep the Ana ult target, but Sky goes down in this fight. Mopork and Moffat get a couple of kills themselves. Mopork in a Zarya battle of his own as they try to clean up. Disaster does add another kill. Moffat, where is he? Is he out of this fight? No, he is still alive in this fight, trying to figure out some damage there. No need to use the Death Blossom too, so a very economical push here that's going to allow them to get second point.
Yeah, and on the side of the defense, I think they're fine right now holding some ultimates they have left. I think they only really have Disaster on the Ana ultimate, which I think is a huge game changer.
Yeah. Miso and Hydration are gonna be having it momentarily though, so they might as well have ult.
Yeah, they might as well be there, and I think that's really good around this last point. They could basically say, hey, we're going to force you to go through this last straightaway without anything at all, but Moffat could be the party pooper here if he gets in the back line.
Shiny does get the Ana boost onto him. He does get slept through it. Moffat, meanwhile, in the back lines, ignores that Ana boost and just gets his own Death Blossom up. Shiny not long for this world as he's cleaned up as well. So very aggressive from the defense to come in there with the Ana boost and punished as that leaves your back line completely exposed. Moffat took great advantage of it. We're going to have a whole hog up momentarily. One of those close down ults. He is busting it out right now, trying to take down the supports or at least keep them indoors at the moment. Another shutdown ult on the left side as the Graviton goes up over there. Earthshatter comes out from the defense, trying to bring this back. They get a couple kills, 4v4 right now on the point.
Yeah, and all they need to do is just stall us out a little more on the side of defense, but it looks like they just don't have enough tanks on the point to sustain all that. They do have the Tracer, who's a little squishy, and is going to jump on the cart by a lot of time for them, so... I mean, this is, I guess this is end up what they need. They just need to stay alive, and great card dancing with the side of Sox, on the side of Sky, and of course Waffle-tastic, just keeping it alive.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily have the sustain from the offense there on point, and it's so brutal to try to close out these last things. I think the closeout ultimates, those tank ultimates I always mention, or closeout ultimates, came out a little bit early. They had the whole hog up, and he used them in kind of in a strange position. The Graviton came up in strange position without any follow-up on the left side. Those are ultimates that should win you the map. Now, in initiation-wise, they are going to have Ender with his Earth Shadow. Can he play the Rhine games and get it going? He's also going to have his Ana boost, but I want to keep eyes on Moffat as he defined the fight last time.
Yeah, this is all going to be about that as well. They speed boost in trying to get a little more damage right there. Moffat with that nano boost in the back line gets boosted right out of the Blizzard, so good job on his side, not getting caught. But on the side defense, they're still able to hold because they were able to isolate a little more damage, but this just doesn't look like they'll be able to hold for a little longer. I mean, Waffle's still alive for some reason, but I guess he does die, and this should be enough to come to the point.
Yeah, it's going to be rough as Sky ends up getting booped into the pit as well. I really like the Ana boost onto Moffat there, who's been playing really well on that Reaper, but also his target selection when he did get Ana boost jumped off and went right to the backline, taking out the Zenyatta, cutting that support in half, and also Zenyatta is so good at trying to deal with the tanks that they still had pushing there. So nice target selection there. It did take them a very long time to actually finish this point, only 30 seconds left in their time bank. Yeah,
so they don't have a lot of room for, I guess, for error, because if they get stomped on the street phase, all of a sudden that's a lot of time that comes off of it, and they have to defend that last point extremely well. But also, you know, on the flip side, if they do manage at the side of the offense right now, it does manage to capture, that means they only have 30 seconds to take that. I think they actually have 1 minute because it upgrades to 1 minute, but they will only have 1 minute to take that first point, which is notoriously very hard to do, especially if the defense is running Mei.
Yeah, we'll see what this defense wants to run. It does not look like there's going to be a Mei on the field just yet, and while it has been more standard, it's not to the point where every team must run it or has to run it, so it's definitely a different look here coming out from the defenses. It's going to be standard 3-2-1, triple tank, double support, single DPS, and that's going to be Moffett. And why wouldn't you run him after the Reaper game he just had?
Yeah, I really like the way they're using him. They're mainly boosting him into the backline, so it gets past a lot of the initial tanks, which is honestly a very interesting way to use Reaper. A lot of teams will use Reaper reactively, more so say like, okay, if the tanks are jumping into me, I'm going to punish them with my shotguns. But they're using the speed boost and they're using the nano boost offensively to get him past the tank line and annihilate the backline, which is exactly what is really weak about these triple tank compositions. Is the moment the tank line has to turn around, they're infinitely weaker. But oddly enough, that might be a good way to deal with this Hanzo in the background.
We'll see if Hydration stays on this Hanzo. He was on that flex pickup May last time, though. This might just be a Sonic Arrow and then switch. We'll see. He's in position for that right now. But a lot of teams have run the offensive Hanzo here, and I think it's a fine pick. He does get the Sonic Arrow. He's going to have good eyes on it. Continues to pepper away, so that makes me believe he is jumping out with his Hanzo. Yeah, he's going to roll with it. No May, so they are just going to kind of make sure that there is no May. That's why the Sonic Arrow is so important, and now they can just choose whenever they want to enter.
Yeah, and they don't need May when you have Moffett running the flank position in the background. No one's noticed him. He's just sitting there right now, able to get some initial damage, and once the team is following up, so he does get some backline support with that. They immediately take down iShiny, which I think is huge. That Reinhardt down means there's one less target to deal with. Hydration does take down Moport, but Ruby is able to trade on the Miso, so both Zaryas are down inside. All the offense is backing up right now. They realize, hey, you know, we have to wait to group together, but Moffett does have Sky and Hydration trapped on that top level. That's going to be a weird disconnect.
Yeah, but it's fine because he's got the Lucio with him. I don't know why they abandoned the really safe position they were in. That's because the team was actually rolling in with them. Hydration gets a couple nice kills there, so as they rotated around from their stuck spot, they're able to get kills. Hydration adds in a 4th kill. Beautiful Hanzo play there. Nice staying alive there the entire time because it was so easy to get picked off if they were aggressive or did just suicide there. But they wait for the rest of the team to respawn into that corner, then join the fray, and Hydration cleaning up on that Hanzo is going to allow them to take this first point.
Yeah, very smart right there to kind of know that your team is right there. And the fact that the rest of their team didn't suicide immediately before and they still had that like that little bit of support coming up from the other side of the wall was huge, because that's all they needed to collapse on the enemy team. They waited for, hey, we have 2 people who don't have a super long walk for that respawn, and if they engage on us, we can just counter-engage and take that fight, and everyone stood right in the way of the State of Dragons, which was huge there. Right now for that street phase, they're slowly getting the payload up front. They did not take a lot of streets, control. However, but I think they're relatively fine right now. I don't think they really care about that. iShiny does have its ult, which is good for this counter engage.
Yeah, let's see what Shiny wants to do. He does get the Ana ult as he comes in. He tries to counter Earthshatter, but it's way too late as the rest of his team was Earthshattered on the ground. Both Reinhardt's trying to get some work done, but it is Moffett and Ender who get the better part of that fight, taking down 3. Hydration is alive, but not for long as he goes down there. A really nice cleanup from the defense there. They did have to use a couple ults, but if you're using ults in winning a fight decisively, that's a trade you'll make every single day of the week. They are going to have some ults coming up too, as Drinku and Soex will have theirs defensively. However, they did keep their Earthshatter as Shiny tried to get it down a couple times, died before it could actually hit the ground with it. So a couple tank ultimates incoming, as well as the best combination of the game in my opinion. Graviton, Dragon, and Fire Grenade, if they can hit it, will absolutely clean up this point.
Yeah, Moffett's back in the backline again, doing so much just damage, just dividing everyone apart, and that whole hog is pushing teams out of the position, not really what they want, but that great hook on Solex does mean a little damage is done in that Graviton Surge, and that Sated Dragon is just... And this is like the second time this has happened to the team. You gotta feel super frustrated. Moffett's probably like, oh man, I got this great flank, the rest of the team will probably take care of it, and then they're just able to sustain out the fight and use that Graviton Surge, save the Dragon yet again, and Hydration's back up to 31%, so this could happen again anytime.
Well, the bad part is they used every single ult there, but I've said it time and time again, if I have to sell out for 1 point in the entire game, it's King's Row second, just because the reinforcement walk is so long, but they're not even going to get to second as the cart was pretty far back, so they're going to have to fight this again. Now defense in pretty good position. They do get the Graviton and grabs most of everyone. Ender is just going to swing through this, chunk through it. That's going to be a full team wipe. Shiny not long for this world. Where's the horn? Let's hear the horn. No horn. I don't know, maybe I have horns turned off. Anyway, that is a full team kill. 6 up, 6 dead. Had to use an Ana ult, but that's fine. Ender was able to hold his, Moffett able to hold his. We'll see if Moffett's going to get anywhere cheeky here. He is trying to hide a little bit. Does get spotted out. Going to Wraith away for whatever reason. Still spotted out.
Yeah, they're just putting damage right here. Hydration just runs and says, okay, you're going to Shadow Step. And he's a little bit out of position, but that great Roadhog hook does buy him a little more time. He's racing into the backline, getting that decent Death Blossom. All he wants to do is pick up Sky and buy some more time for the side of the defense. He wants to make it a 5v6, so even if they do engage on this rest of the fight, they're absolutely fine. But that whole Hog does go off, pushing off the side of the defense, even further behind, and they're just pincered in right now. That Earthshatter doesn't really catch anyone, but iShiny does get annihilated in return. So this fight has been flipping on its side, you know, over and over again. The offense should be running back right now, regrouping and looking for another push.
Yeah, Moffat's been a terror in this backline too. And anytime you use an ultimate, you only get one kill. As long as that kills the support, it's probably worth it anyway. To the chagrin of all the supports watching in chat. I'm sorry, your lives are just more valuable than ours. Ender is going to have his ultimate up as well. Moffat in a cheeky position again, but no Death Blossom up for him. So probably just waiting a while, hoping to get a support kill somewhere here and there. The Graviton into, oh my god. Graviton into Dragon's pretty good, you think?
Yeah, like you know what George Bush said, you know, like fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. You know, you get fooled, you can't get fooled again. Yeah, kind of thing. That happened 3 times in a row.
That old butchered saying that he used several times again. But yeah, the problem is though, it's really hard to play around. What are you gonna do? Just not fight like near each other? Graviton has an insane range as far as what it will grasp when it's actually on the ground. So it's a very difficult ult to play around. The only thing you can actually do against it is a sound barrier. It's the only thing that will save your team.
Yeah, they just need to knock through the bubble within 14 seconds. Great Earthshatter catches everyone, and that's just more than enough. Nano Boost gets used on the Roadhog. Good job on that side. They realize, hey, we don't need to Nano Boost your Reinhardt after it's ulted. That's all we need to do, realistically. But good job. But on the side of the defense, I think right now they need to think about it. Hey, how do we avoid this win condition that they're punishing on? They can't really group together, and that's really tough to say because that's kind of what you want to do in team fights. You want to, take advantage together, get the boost, and Hydration takes down Ruby, which is just, he luckily didn't have his ultimate up, but that does mean the Bow Nade will not be up.
Well, Moffat was trying to get cute right there, going in the backlines, gets hooked immediately by Waffletastic. A beautiful kill from him as both tanks also add in a couple of no more kills. Miso and Shiny just rolling their way through. People got trapped in a hallway there. It is only a couple up for the defense right now. They should be able to re-engage this point. They're going to have a Graviton and a Death Blossom if they can do it, but they all end up eating Dragon yet again. Mopork is able to shield his way out through it, does able to get that Graviton off and cleans up a couple, including Hydration, who's been a bane for this team. They are now fighting on even terms here as Mopor continues to rain in the damage. A beautiful Earthshatter yet again as everyone on the ground getting chunked up by this Zarya. Mopor at 100% and just melting people away, melting away the problems here. That's going to be a hold for the defense. 1 minute left for the offense to push this through, and they're not going to have Dragon Strike up again, which has been the thing that's broken through points before. They will have Graviton, though, so if they can maybe get a Pulse Bomb in, as Waffle is switched onto Tracer, then maybe that should be enough for them, but last good push incoming.
Yeah, and this is all right now about defense. Defense can spread out, not get caught together. I think they can avoid that win condition. But right now, they're just grouped together immediately. Great grab with sound barrier, more people with that on a barrier, on a nade, just taking everyone down, making healing look useless right there. Moffat's trying to be the hero right now. 1v1, maybe 2v5, and luckily Ruby is alive, so he might be able to buy some more time, but just gets enough time for the Tracer to get back on, but jumps out the point, and luckily he was able to come back on and stall it a little more, but I think this is it. Yeah, they capture it. They only have 18 seconds. Sorry, I think they have. Yeah, they only have 18 seconds left on the clock. Is that no? Am I reading that right? I'm just checking.
You've confused me now, so I'm just gonna chill and see what happens with this and see what time remaining. Yeah, it was 18, so it gets boosted back up to a minute there. As is Time Bank's rules. So 113 versus 1 minute here. And I believe that's going to be them on the attack again. So 3-3, really this is just going to come down to first points here. We might end up going to a draw if we have to, but first point caps, that's all it's going to be. We have seen actually, I believe it was Luxury Watch Red, take King's Row all the way to the end with their minute push. So it is possible. It has happened before. I would say that we're probably not going to see it again, so these first points are going to be really what's interesting here. Minute left for both sides, just about, and yeah, it looks like Waffle's going to stay on his Tracer, and his Tracer just came to life there. It absolutely crushed in that last push.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what they really need. They need that high capacity die composition. They do recognize that 1 minute might not be a lot of time for Ana to get that ultimate up. It might not be great enough for that win condition in there.
It's fine. You can get an Ana ult up in a minute.
But I do feel like it's a little less room for error because if you get picked off or any that composition gets picked off, you don't have much time to adjust to it. So they are going with the option of saying like full die composition. Let's hope Sky gets a random pick out of nowhere, and this fight becomes so much easier.
We're gonna watch Waffle actually. Hanzo, yeah, that is Sky. Sky switches last second though. That was only for Sonic Arrow, so Sky's gonna be on Lucio. It's going to be Waffle trying to get this really early damage in. An interesting composition. Shiny and Waffle need to be combining with each other. There goes Waffle in over the top. Waffle does follow his Winston, rather. Gets into the back line completely alone back here now, but they do trade out a couple kills. Shiny and Moffat with 1-1. 5v5 right now. And Shiny continues to get a couple kills on his Winston. We are missing it. He does get taken down as soon as I switch to him. Sorry about that, buddy. And here comes Waffle, is still in the back line trying to get the damage done here. Him and Genji all alone back there, not focusing on the same target, but it does not matter as they add a couple more kills. It's only Mo Pork alive, but he is discorded, so not long for this world. Sky, despite not being on Hanzo, has gotten 3 kills in this fight against Lucio.
I think just never play Hanzo again. Just play Lucio and do a lot of damage that way. But good job on their aspect. But 3 seconds left. You still have to escort the entire car. Hopefully, I think they can trigger overtime. Yeah, they're close enough to the payload random trigger overtime, carry through the entire stage. This is a little risky because when you want to bring it to the next point, the moment anyone takes a foot off of the payload right now, it's going to instantaneously disappear. Overtime's going to be over.
You have to win every fight from here on out if you want the next point. That's as simple as it gets. Waffle and Hydration both with their ults up, Transcendence up, so, I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible.
Yeah, they're taking it off right now in the background. Great nano boost on the Reinhardt, making life so much difficult by Hydration. Able to take down Moffat. Enough damage down. Waffle-tastic's able to trade out a lot more, so this should be a fight they could potentially win. But they're just great job right now. The guys are keeping them off of the cart just a little more quick or shatter in response. But luckily on the side of the offense, they're winning this fight and they're staying right to the cart.
They're winning this fight despite the ultimates that came out. Mo Pork did bust out his Graviton there too, which I thought he, maybe was going to save it, but did not. Moffat now with his Death Blossom up, but they're really on pace to get to this second point.
Yeah, and luckily they do have a little more options in terms of Waffle-tastic with that 7% on his ult right now. They don't have a lot of ultimate options for Moffat right now, so Moffat can get in the background. This could be the end of overtime, but I think they'll be happy enough just pushing to the second point.
Well, another big fight incoming here as Moffat does walk forward trying to get in position for a Death Blossom. Everyone's busting it out now, but the defensive sound barrier comes down before Moffat hits his Death Blossom. That is 3 quick kills. It's 3v6 right now on the point. Hydration goes down, Sky goes down. That's it. They do prevent a second point capture, but this distance is super far.
Yeah, this is really good for the side of the offense at that point. Mainly just pushing it that far and winning that initial fight in the streets phase, I think, was super essential. I think there are a lot of great ultimates that were used. I don't think they can be super disappointed. Sure, you want to save that one ultimate for the rest of this push, but I think they're fine with it, and they're looking at the clock right now and saying, like, hey, we only have to defend for around, I think, 1 more minute. I think a minute 13 was what was left over, so they're bringing out the May, and that's exactly what they want. They want to say, like, hey, we don't care about necessarily winning the fight immediately, but we will stall you out long enough so the street phase is just that much harder.
Well, Hydration's May on the very first defense was lackluster, to say the best. It missed the wall a couple times. There was a decent wall that prevented a Reinhardt charge, but even coming out of the ice block, I think spent a little too much time in the ice block, which is essentially like, I'm getting healed, but you're not in the fight. You might as well be dead at that point. But even post-ice block, coming out of it, taking strange angles here and there. So we're going to see if Hydration can have a better initial wall at the very least to start off this defense. On the offense, it does not look like they're switching much up, running triple tank, 2 support, and 1 on the DPS, that 3-2-1 composition, which has come into favor lately as a wrinkle of the triple-triple. So that's exactly what we're seeing on both sides, 3-2-1. And yeah, it's going to be on Hydration. Can his may have a better value than it did last time? It looks like he's not even going for the aggro wall. He's going to wait for the secondary wall past statue. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that first aggro wall is just so much time that you can potentially take off. But then again, it looks like the offense is going to be running around Hotel, so that may have been the better play in hindsight. Just not getting caught out in any way possible. So he's going to have the wall set up, and you can cut off Moffat for the rest of the team. I think that's going to be a huge win. But right now, they're on their side. They're engaging right now. That wall doesn't really do as much. Just pushes them off the side. They need to engage right now because they don't have time to contest.
Yeah, they're getting bullied back through Hotel now as Hydration rolls around trying to get the flank going too. Does a lot of damage, but he's in trouble a little bit. A nice wall there is going to bring back those reinforcements from coming in. does end up putting himself into the ice block as it's completely back and forth right now. 5v5 on the point as Mo Pork continues to roll through the hotel. The desperation wall, but Mo Pork is the one who's been absolutely cleaning up on his Zarya. He's in the back lines there. It's only Waffle and Hydration left alive. This first point is over.
Yeah, and this is great for their side right now. It's 15 seconds left, and Hydration luckily is able to buy them slightly more time. And I think, unfortunately, not able to force overtime on this first point. Although I think it will be. I think they will be able to get the car out in time to really capitalize off of it. So this will be another situation where one fight loss on the streak phase could mean a lot. And if you look on the side of the offense, they do have a lot of tools. But I'm very excited. Yeah. I'm very excited to see Hydration and the Ana boost along with the Ana Nate, and iShiny now has his Earth Shatter. This could be the fight just waiting to be won.
Well, yellow box of victory on the ground just outside of the second point, so that looks like where they want to posture up. Not going to go too far here. They do have a very, very flanky Reinhardt in the back lines. He nails a huge Earth Shatter, hits down 5. That was the flank heart of the millennia. My God, you rarely see a Reinhardt in that position, and Shiny winning this fight and consequently the game for his team. There is no way they get back here on time. No one saw it coming. Way to go, Shiny.
That's gotta hurt. That's why you gotta find ways to look at all these flanks. You gotta buy like some ward or something like that. Get some vision there, because there's no way that happens. And a great job. I think that's so smart on his side. He knew exactly, hey, they're not gonna check this specific place for me. They're gonna expect me to wait until they push through that middle point for that chokehold. That's all he needs to do, and that's exactly what it is. They set up so much. Hydration does get the play of the game, though, which is huge, I think. I mean, he was just a menace on this Hanzo, and Graviton Surge, State of Dragons were just ridiculous.
His Hanzo was great. There's no two ways about that. That's a 4-kill just with a Dragon ult. I don't know, like, that's how the system works, but play of the match is Shiny's flank on Reinhardt. That Earth Shatter was game-winning Earth Shatter flank. That was insanity. I think a lot of it is because they know exactly what they were running. There was only one hero that can easily get to high ground. That was Moffat, and the way the Moffat's been playing has been super aggressive. So Moffat was not going to be up there to check high ground. They were happy to put their Reinhardt up there and win the game with it. That was bonkers. Alright, so that is going to be our lower bracket best of 1. The winner is moving forward to face off against WG Weedle Geniuses. That is a best of 3. Winner of that goes up top and has to play Complexity. That's the Overwatch we have scheduled for you today. And yeah, that is the 1% moving forward, and good for them, because I think that there were some ringers in for Baby Bat today, and they had a little back and forth in the chat previously. I think those were the ringers from Ono that I was talking about that came in. They said they ran it through the administration, which is fine, so apparently it was all vetted, but the 1% not necessarily happy with the roster they had to face against. Clutched it out against Baby Bat Burritos, so the 1% versus WG will be up next. That will be a best of 3. Maybe we can just get it right away, because I would rather just not take a break.
Who needs breaks, dude? When you're a robot, you don't need anything. No water, no food, just more Overwatch for us to watch.
I could use a refill on my coffee here. But let's see, who do I have from? Do I have anyone from WG on my friends list?
Do you have legit Louis or any of those?
Oh, I should have legit. Where is legit? Did legit unfriend me? Am I legit unfriended?
Dude, you could be, man. Maybe you just didn't cast enough of his games. You fell out of favor for someone else.
All right, so what we're gonna do as we get this set up, probably take like a brief 3-minute break so that I can get more coffee. Yeah, I'm running production. I get to make those kind of decisions. So we will be back momentarily with the lower bracket grand finals. That will be WG versus the 1%. Thanks for sticking with us. Make sure to check out Matcherino, check out Tang, check out OWKings.com. Since it's an abbreviated day, I will abbreviate my sellouts. You know what they do. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to take probably a brief 5-minute break as we get this next lobby set up. Stick around, tell everyone, hey, there is actually Overwatch today. That is Scribe OW, not Skype OW, as I mentioned before. I am Hexagrams. Make sure to give us those follows on Twitter. And we'll be right back as we set up our lower bracket finals.